Okay, so page 13, we're looking at fractions. Question 1, shade 3/7 of this shape. Rather than looking at number of squares, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to count these in terms of rows. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, actually columns. So if I look at them as 7 columns, if I want to shade 3 out of 7, I just need to shade in any 3 of those. So that would be absolutely fine for that. Okay, for question 2, write the following fractions in their simplest form. So we're trying to cancel these down. So I'm going to cancel this one down. Well, we've got a 0, which automatically tells us we can cancel down by 10. We can actually cancel down by more than 10 though. They've both got 30 in common, so I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 30, and I'm going to have 1 over 2 as my fraction. For B, 12 and 18 both have the number 6 in common, so 6 goes twice into 12 and 3 times into 18, so it's going to be 3 over 8. Part C has got a bit of a guided clue here. It's suggesting divide by 5. So what number will go into 35 and 120? And it's kind of giving us the hint of 5s. So 35 divided by 5 is going to be 7. And then 120 divided by 5 is going to be 24, I believe. Okay, we're then going to move on to part D. So 24 and 84. The number that they both have in common then is going to be, just trying to, they've definitely got 6s in common. I'm just trying to spot whether there's anything more that they both have in common. I think that they also they have 12s in common. Yes, so 12 goes into 24 twice, and 12 goes into 84 7 times. Yeah, because 5 times by 12 is 60, and we've got 24 more, which is 4 lots of 7. So that's going to be 2 lots of 7. And I'm just double checking that in my head. So divided by 12, yeah, there we go. So 2 over 7. Okay, question 3, write down the fraction of the shapes that are shaded. Write your fraction in its simplest form. So I'm going to do this one in columns again. So we've got 3 out of the 4 columns. So the fraction is 3 out of 4. And then for this one, I'm going to do it in terms of rows. So we've got 3 out of the 4 rows. So again, that's going to be 3 over 4. Okay, question 4. Work out 3/4 of 60. Yeah, I would do it like this. I'd do 60 divided by 4 is half it and half it again. So that would be 15. And then 15 times by 3 is going to be 45. I wouldn't necessarily do this as 2 sums. I would probably kind of say that that's going to be the same as 4 times by 80 all over 5, and I would do the divide by 5 first. So 80 divided by 5 is going to be 16, and then 16 times by 4 is going to be 64. For part C, 7/8 of 160. So again, I'd do this as 7 times by 160, all divided by 8, and I would do the 160 divided by 8 first of all. So 160 divided by 8 would be 20, and then 7 times by 20 would be 140. And then likewise for D, I'm going to treat it as 5 times by 210, all divided by 7. And then 210 divided by 7 would be 30, and then 5 times by 30, 5 times by 30 would be 150. Okay, and question 5. Sandy bought 30 punnets of strawberries for £20. 1/6 of the punnets were rotten, so they were thrown away. He sold the remaining punnets for £1.50 each. Work out the profit. So we're going to do this in. I'm going to work out the number that was sold first of all. So I'm going to do 5/6 of 30. And I'm going to do it like how I did in question 2. So 5 times by 30 all divided by 6. I'm going to do the division of 30 divided by 6 is going to give me 5, which is going to give me 25. So 25 25 is the number of punnets that were sold, and we sold them for £1.50 each. So I need to do 25 times by £1.50. So I would tend to say that, well, 1 times 25 is going to be 25. And then a half of 25, or 0.5 times by 25, is going to be 12.5. So the amount of money that she made was £37.50. So if we're trying to work out what profit this person made, we're going to have to finish it off by £37.50 minus the price that she paid for them, which was 20. So that's going to give me £17.50 profit. And for question 6, Tom bought 20 boxes of flowers. Each box cost him £6. Each box contains 15 flowers. He sells 3/5 of the total number of flowers for 70 pence each. He sells the remaining at 50 pence each. Work out the total profit that Tom makes. So I'm just in my head trying to work out whether I actually need to work out in terms of flowers. Number of flowers, sorry. Because we could say boxes. So I'm going to work in terms of boxes. No, I will work in terms of flowers. So each box contains 15 flowers. So we've got a total of 20 times by 15. And a bit like how I did here, by I was times it by 1.5, a bit like that. So 20 times by 10 is going to be 20 times by 10 is going to be 200, and then a half of 20 is going to be 10. So he's got, sorry, what? 20 times by 10 is 200, and then 20 times by 5 is not 10, it's 100. So they sell a total of 300 flowers. So I'm going to move over here. 3/5 of the total number of flowers were sold for 70 pence each, and then he sells the remaining for 50 pence each. So I'm going to do 3/5 of 300. 3 times by 300 divided by 5. So 300 divided by 5, well, 100 divided by 5 is 20, so that's going to be 3 times by 120. So that's going to be 360 that we sold at 70 pence each. And then, and I've made a slight mistake there. Let's rewind that slightly. So 300 divided by 5 is not what I said. So 300 divided by 5, well, 100 divided by 5 is 20, so that would be 60. So that would be 180. So 180 of the flowers, which were sold for 70 pence each, which means that we've got 120 flowers that were sold at 50 pence each, which is the easier of the two sums to do. So I'm going to times that by 0.5, sorry. So that's going to be £60 for those ones, and then for the other ones, and then I've got 180 that are sold at 70 pence each, so I'm going to times that by 0.7, which is going to be the same as 18 times by 7. Which is going to be 7 times by 8 is going to be 49.56, is 8 times 7, and then 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 5 is £126. So total money made then is going to be found by 126 plus 60. So the total amount of money made is going to be £186. And from that we need to subtract the amount of money that he spent, which was 20 times by 6. So that's going to be 120. So that means that we've got £66 profit. Okay, there we go. So that is that page.